One of the perceived challenges with Oregon is that, as you said, it's not a super talent-rich area. You've got to go out and convince guys who are 1,500, 2,000 miles away to sometimes come here. Was that as much of a challenge as you thought it would be, or less of a hurdle?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't much of a challenge. I think being out at Stanford and seeing what we had to do out there is very similar. And you again, you just got to go out. I mean, over this entire country, there's enough football players in this country to come here. And there's a lot of guys that want to be here. So but again, they're not just going to come. You got to go out and get them and outwork and our staff did a good job of doing that. We're all over the country trying to get kids, and I think a big part of it is building relationships. And the kids that we liked and we didn't necessarily get in, it wasn't because they didn't like Oregon. It was more because of the relationship. They had a better relationship with other people and spent more time with them. And unfortunately, we got here a little late and tried to build those relationships, but it's hard to do that within a month or not even a month with the staff. We finally got the staff together. So I think going forward, it'll be a little easier because we have time to build those relationships, and I think that's what it all comes down to when it comes to recruiting, is building a relationship and getting to know the young men and their families and them understanding what you're trying to do in your vision as well.
Hey, Coach, Sky Muller, KVAL TV here in Eugene. We've seen you and your staff very active on Twitter, but also some of those early enrollees have been very active. How big is it when you have some of those guys that are part of this class that committed early out kind of helping you guys do some recruiting?
Well, I think those guys just want to make sure they have a good class coming in. Those guys are committed to the University of Oregon, and they want to make sure that they're not the only ones that's here. They want other guys coming. I think that's when you really end up getting good classes. When those guys start to talk to each other and get to know each other, it becomes stronger, and guys really want to be a part of that. And I think that was a big part of it. They want to change as well, and they want to win, and they know they can't do it by themselves.
Aaron Finch for CSN. You have 7 guys from Florida. Is this going to be a norm? Are you going to try and always tap in there? You have 3 coaches on your staff, including you, who are head coaches in that state. Is this going to be normal?
We're going to try to get the best players around the country, whether it's Florida, Georgia, Ohio, Virginia, New York, North Dakota, wherever they're at, Samoa. Well, we have relationships there, so we're going to always go there. That's just the right thing to do, and a lot of those commits we already had those relationships with those young men, and but I think it'll be very wise for us to continue to recruit where we have relationship and we know folks, and then continue to build relationship in other areas as well. But we're going to always recruit the state of Florida, and each year I'm pretty positive we'll be able to get some kids out of there. Again, there's a lot of kids down there that really, really like Oregon. They just were never offered by them before. And they have a head coach and some other coaches that have ties down there. So more kids down there get offered. Now we won't get them all, but we'll get them, and we're going to try to get the best ones. We're not going to settle.
Throughout this entire recruiting process, we saw a lot on social media. Obviously, that's something we haven't seen with the staffs in the past for recruiting periods. I know you were brought on to change the culture, and it really seems like recruiting has been a big area there. Can you explain your recruiting philosophy?
We want the very best kid out there, and we got to find the very best way of going about getting them, and recruiting has changed a lot, and social media is a big part of it. And you talk with these young people, it's not just telephone calls anymore. You got to get to them on social media, so that's a big part of it. And not just the kids, but your fan base as well, and giving them some insight of what's going on. I know that always help as well. And again, being down in the South and in the SEC country, you see how they do a lot of things. And but social media is huge, and we got to use it. If you don't, you're going to be behind. We can't be behind. We just can't. And we got to find every advantage we can to stay up on it. Recruiting change all the time, and I always say recruiting is like brushing your teeth and combing your hair. As soon as you stop, you start to look bad. So we got to make sure we're doing that.
On the right, Ryan. Ryan Thorburn with the Register Guard.
Hey, go
Willie,
Ryan.
it looks like you signed some big defensive linemen. Do you anticipate them having an immediate impact? And with Jim Levitt, what kind of base scheme do you think he'll run? Will he run a 3-4, 4-3?
He'll run a 3-4. And with the linemen, they're gonna have every opportunity to go out and compete and try to take somebody's job. You know, I told our players that's what we're gonna do is recruit guys to take their jobs, and it's on them to keep their jobs. That's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna be highly competitive, and we don't talk about red shirting. I think nowadays kids are so much more advanced than what they used to be coming out of high school, and we don't want to sell those young men short and say, hey, you come here to red shirt. We're going to let them come and compete, and if they show us that they're ready to play, we're going to let them play, and if they show us that they need to be red shirted, then we'll do that, but we definitely going to give them an opportunity to come and play.
Right next to Austin.
Hey, Willie. Austin Meek with the Register Guard. You had to address some issues with your staff in the first couple months on the job. Did that come up at all on the recruiting trail? And would you tell players or their parents who might have had questions about that?
It came up, and we told them the truth. You know, we had nothing to hide. You know, the weight room issue, we felt that was bogus. You know, it was told the wrong way, and we explained to them exactly what happened. You know, and I think the young people that we're recruiting know who we were and know what we're about, and they knew we weren't out trying to kill anybody. We weren't doing anything malicious. And if you got the true story, I think everyone would have knew that we weren't trying to do that. But it's sad that it was reported the way it was. And but in the long run, I think it helped us, you know, because again, the parents saw that we were truthful and we didn't have anything to hide. And then the other issue, we addressed that and we moved forward. You know, I think anytime something bad happens, there's three things that can happen. You can either let it define you, you can let it destroy you, or you can let it encourage you to move forward and get better. And we chose to do the latter, and it really helped us.
Are you AJ? AJ Jacobson with Rivals.com. Coach, what messages would you say resonated most this season in the living rooms that you were just visiting the last several weeks?
That's tough. There's a lot of messages out there, but I think more just getting the swagger back in Oregon, you know, getting it back to where it belongs. And again, I think everyone realized not too long ago Oregon was playing a national championship game, and everyone know what the possibilities are here, you know. But it's going to take a lot of work, you know, and it's going to take a commitment by everyone in the program to get back there. And it always takes good football players, so we got to make sure we're doing that.